Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Maria, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you guys a handful of tips on how to stay organized so that you can study better as a nursing student. Being more organized not only means that you can hit your goals in terms of getting a first or getting a certain percentage in an essay, it kind of removes some of the drama in your life. It means that you're able to hit your goals with ease. Before we go anywhere else in the video, I do want to quickly say that none of the tips and advice and knowledge that I'm about to share in this video will be helpful to you guys if you do not have any self-discipline. Self-discipline is key, and in my humble opinion, self-discipline comes before any other goal. Why is it that only a handful of people get it first? And one of the main reasons why only a handful of people who actually have the goal of getting a first actually meet that goal is because they have a set of routines, they have a set of habits that they have put in place to ensure that they hit that goal. Because they have high value habits, because they maximize what they have, they're able to hit the goals with ease, even though it wasn't a goal that they originally had. You can have all the motivation in the world, but if the motivation comes from external sources and doesn't come from within, then it's going to fluctuate. If you want to be consistent with anything, or if you want to succeed at anything, you have to be self-disciplined, especially when it comes to essays. Don't let your emotions rule you, and that is something that I really struggled with during my nursing degree. There were parts of my nursing degree that were so much more easier than others, and it's because I maximized what I had. It's because I used systems that were already there rather than always trying to create my own system. First tip to staying organized as a nursing student is to make sure you have a clean working environment. And by that, I basically mean tidy your room. If you've got crisp packets, if you've got tissue, if you've got clothes lying everywhere, and then you've got like a 3,000 word essay to do, it's going to be very difficult to do if your work environment is very messy. And the reason why that is an issue is because if your work environment is really messy, you can be thinking, oh, I need to take that cup downstairs. Oh, in a minute, I need to clean that mirror. I need to sweep my floor. I need to like fold all my clothes up. Remove all those little tasks in your head. And one way of doing that is to actually do those tasks before you study, or is to make sure you clean your environment. Make it as plain as possible. So when you walk into your room, the only task that is in front of you, the only task that you're actually thinking of doing is your work. That's why sometimes it's really important not to kind of, I don't want to say overbook yourself, but set yourself too many tasks. Because if you're setting yourself so many tasks but you can't achieve it, when it actually comes to doing something that you need to do, you're thinking of all the other stuff that you haven't done. The next way to stay organized as a student nurse so that you can study more effectively is basically to make sure you get yourself a planner. As basic as it sounds, again, get yourself a planner. And when I say a planner, I would recommend an electronic planner. It could be something as simple as using a calendar on your phone. So make sure you're documenting all your lectures. Try and sync it to all your electrical devices. Documenting your lectures, any clubs, any GP appointments, any shifts that you have at work. Make sure you document everything. And the reason why I recommend getting an electronic planner is because the issue with physical planners is that it's physical. It only works if it's physically there with you. Whereas if you have an electronic planner that's online, even if you don't have your phone with you, you just have to have a computer. Go to that computer, log into your email or whatever it is that your planner is linked to, and you can see everything on there. And it also means that you're able to sort out the logistics of things. For example, there were several times during my nursing degree where I had a lecture at 1 o'clock, and then I had a shift at work at 1:30, and then I had to pick up like a food delivery at 3 o'clock. And yes, that's all fine, it's one event after the other, but in terms of having a lecture at 1 o'clock and then having a shift at work at 1:30, well, unless I can get that lecture done in 30 minutes and make my way all the way to work, fantastic. But having an electronic planner just kind of helps you to see the logistics of everything a bit easier, and then you're able to kind of, maybe rather than having a shift at 1:30, maybe if I move that over to 3:30, that would give me 2.5 hours to have this 1 hour lecture, have something to eat, make my way over to work, and do my shift at work comfortably. The next tip that I want to share with you guys is understand that multitasking, I know the majority of my viewers are females, but females, man, even males who know how to multitask. Multitasking is not always your best friend. Like if you're washing the dishes and you're watching TV, fantastic. If you're cleaning and you're also kind of, I don't know, going through some lecture notes, yes, that's okay. But when it comes to really having proper dedicated time, multitasking isn't always your best option. Say for example, you have an introductory paragraph that you want to write, and this introductory paragraph has to be 400 to 500 words. Why beat around the bush and attempt to write that introduction while watching something on TV? Like, don't beat around the bush, just tackle tasks head on. At this point, it's important for you guys to understand the difference between tasks that need to be done independently and tasks that you can be doing while, you know, doing other things. Preparing for a presentation isn't something that you should multitask. Writing an essay isn't something that you should multitask. Revising, depending on the depth of revision that you're trying to achieve, isn't always something that you should be multitasking. So just kind of, you yourself will know how much you can and can't multitask. The next tip to help you stay organized is to make sure you read your module aims before you attend the first lecture or the first seminar. I'd even take it a step further and say that at the beginning of every full day at university, make sure you spend 5 minutes just to kind of look at the module aims. I think it was the second year, there was a module that we were doing and I did not read the module aims. Tell me why, like midway through the module, that I finally realized that I caught the wrong end of the stick. Luckily, I wasn't too far left, so I was kind of able to reel it back in. But something as simple as reading the module aims would have meant that I knew what kind of side to approach this topic from. The next tip to help you guys stay more organized so that you can study better is to make use of electronic resources. I know that I've already mentioned the use of electronic planners in one of my previous points, and I remember in third year I was actually introduced to a referencing software. I can't remember the exact name of it. I think it was something along the lines of like ThinkPad or something like that, but it was so good because it just reduced the time that I spent referencing. It reduced the time that I had to go back and be like, oh, well, I've referenced his work, but I can't exactly remember where I got this reference from. Like, it saved so much time. There are softwares that even read articles for you, and the reason why I'm such a massive advocate for using electronic resources is because they cut down the amount of decision making you have to do. They cut down the amount of tedious reading that they have to do. My kind of first introduction to kind of really using technology to help me was something as simple as using the find button on Word documents or on PDF documents. So if you log into, I don't know, whatever your article is, and you just simply go onto the search bar and type in a keyword, that will help you identify any keywords, and it kind of helps you identify whether this article is going to be useful to you or not. The next tip to help you stay organized is to create routines. And I know that as a student nurse, or that as a nurse in general, it can be really, really hard. And when I'm talking about creating routines, I'm not talking about long morning routines and long evening routines. More specifically, when I say routines, I mean portable routines. What I mean by portable routines are routines that you can do at any time of the day. A very simple example is when I think of reading an article, I've already identified that this article is going to be useful for my dissertation. So when I read this article, there are 5 things that I'm going to do as part of my post-article reading routine. I'm going to reference this article, so write down referencing according to my university's referencing guidelines. I'm going to write down 3 things that I like about this article and 3 things that I can use in my dissertation. And I'm going to write down 3 points that I don't like about this article. And that's what I mean by portable routines. Even another example would be when you're washing your uniform. A simple routine associated with washing your uniform is make sure you wash your uniform, then put it in the dryer and then leave it to hang. A third step of that routine would be making sure you iron your uniform if that's something that you do. And the fourth step to that routine could be making sure you've put it in a place that is easy access for you, so when it is time for you to go to placement, everything is already done. That's what I mean by portable routines. Routines that don't have to be done at a specific time of the day, that can be done at any time of the day, but are 4 or 5 steps, maybe more, that make sure that this whole task is completed. For me, there is no point putting your clothes in a washing machine if you're just going to leave it in a washing machine. Like, what is the point? There is no point reading an article that you know you're going to use and then just push it to the corner. Do you know what I mean? That's what I mean about portable routine. Don't just limit yourself to thinking that tasks or activities can only be done at a certain time of the day. Don't think that, oh, because I did it in the morning, then forget it. Oh, because I did do it in the evening, I can't do it now. I've got to wait till the next evening. I've got to wait till next Wednesday to do it. I've got to wait till next Thursday to do it. Don't limit yourself to that thinking. There are so many different tasks, so many different activities that you can do at any point of the day, any point of the night. The next step to staying organized so that you can study better is minimizing the amount of stationery you have. And when I'm talking about stationery, I mean things like gel pens, notebooks, cardboard, notepads, bits of paper everywhere. Minimize all of that. Having just the right amount is fantastic, but having too much is just excessive. And the issue with having an excess amount of things, especially when it comes to stationery, is that it becomes difficult to manage. And when that becomes difficult to manage, it has a negative impact on the essential things that you need to manage. And when I'm talking about minimizing the amount of stationery you have, this can apply to any part of your life. I'm not just talking about stationery, but anything that no longer serves you, anything that you are now serving, you need to minimize that. Because if you're serving so many things at once, you can't actually do the things that you need to focus on. If you guys want me to do a video on like minimalistic traits or kind of minimalistic principles that you can apply to your nursing practice, let me know, because I'll be more than happy to do that. Another tip to staying organized is learning to say no. At some points during your nursing degree, saying yes will have to be limited to certain occasions. Learning to say no, not taking on more than you can actually handle, helps you to stay organized, helps you to study better, because it helps you to set healthy boundaries within the systems that you're working in. Break bigger tasks into smaller ones. The first example that comes to mind is when I think of the D word. The D word, and by the D word I mean dissertation. When I think of my 16,000 word dissertation, rather than thinking I've got 16,000 words to write in the space of so and so time, break it down. So maybe literature review I've got to do at this point, and then methodology I've got to do, and then conclusion I've got to do, and then all of the different bits that will go into your dissertation. The reason why breaking bigger tasks into smaller tasks is so helpful for organization and helping you to study better is because it helps you to feel less overwhelmed, which in turn has a positive impact on your mental health. And let me tell you, if your mental health is not in the best of place, then you can just scrap studying. Like, if your mental health is not where it needs to be for you, then just, in a sense, just kind of forget about it. Studying is so much more harder to do when you're going through mental health issues, whether it be stress, whether it be depression, whether it be anxiety, and organization can help with that. It's preparing your placement uniform the day before. I know this sounds super basic, but please hear me out. And the reason why that has a massive impact on your ability to study and your ability to get on and do the essential things that you need to do that day is because it eliminates the decision-making process. The first hour of your day, the first hour of when you wake up is so important, and you don't want to waste your brain power on tedious tasks such as, oh, I'm going to put this on, oh my gosh, where's my shoe, oh my gosh, where's my sock. You don't want to waste your energy on that. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have heard of Mark Zuckerberg, I believe his name is, the guy, the owner of Facebook, and he wears the same clothes every day. And one of the reasons why he wears the same clothes every day is because it eliminates decision-making processes that he has to make. That way he can use his brain power to focus on more essential decisions that need to be made that day. You need to understand that sometimes you can't do it all. As long as you do the most important things, then you should be okay. And one way of helping you to do the most important things and making organization a long-term thing rather than a short-term thing is learning to prioritize and understanding what tasks are more important, what tasks have a higher risk or a lower risk if you were or were not to do them. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye. Peace.